So I'm breaking section 1.6 into 2 videos just so I don't end up with one that's too large for my phone to handle. So we already went through 4 examples in the first video. So we ended up with example 4 with Brenda Jan, and I did it 2 different ways because in this problem they don't give you any one of the sentences that has a total in it. So it doesn't matter which sentence you use to define your variables and which sentence you use to write the equation. Now what I want to do is 2 examples where you have 3 variables. So let me do, this will be example, I guess you can kind of see that. Let me zoom in a little bit more. And tape this down. This is example 5. So it has, Ling is 3 times as heavy as her packed suitcase. Her suitcase is 20 pounds heavier than her knapsack. The weights of Ling, her suitcase, and her knapsack total 170 pounds. How much does each weigh? So even though it asked how much they weigh, you're still not having to solve this, so don't worry about this last piece here. You just have to write the equation. The other thing about this problem is they don't break it, they don't put a number 1 and a number 2 for 2 different sentences. They just put it all together in a little statement, but it's basically the same thing or the same pattern as the previous 4 examples. So to define the variables, and well, you see here that this second sentence, the weights of Ling, her suitcase, and her knapsack total 170. 170 is the total, so we need to use this sentence here to define or to write the equation. That means the first sentence is going to be used to define the variables. So find, of the 3 things, we have Ling's weight, we have her suitcase's weight, and we have her knapsack's weight. Find the one that weighs the least of the 3, which, if you look at it carefully, it's the knapsack, because the suitcase is heavier than the knapsack, and Ling is heavier than her suitcase. So we have Ling's weight, then you have suitcase weight, and then we have knapsack weight. All right, so we're going to use the letter K for knapsack because that's the variable that weighs the least. Now we have to define the other 2 in terms of K. So I can't put L and S. I have to have only K's in here. So it says Ling is 3 times as heavy as her suitcase. Well, that doesn't help me write Ling with K, so I'm going to go to the second piece. Her suitcase is 20 pounds heavier than her knapsack. Let's see, suitcase, so I could put suitcase is 20 more than the knapsack. Now I know what the suitcase weighs, so now I can go back to this first piece here and get a statement, an expression for Ling's weight. Ling is 3 times as heavy as her suitcase. She's 3 times whatever her suitcase weighs. Well, her suitcase weighs 20 plus K. Now we have everything in terms of K, and we can use the sentence with the total to write the equation. So we have Ling's weight. Let's see, make sure I'm not off my paper. Plus the suitcase weight plus the knapsack weight equals 170 pounds. And there is our equation. So a little bit trickier, but not too bad. One more like that. Example 6 is, let's see here, hockey team. Let me find a piece of tape. All right, we have a hockey team that played 12 games. They won 2 more than they lost. They lost 1 more than they tied. How many games did they win, lose, and tie? All right, well, we don't really need to answer that. We just need the equation. So we have the number of games won, the number of games lost, and the number of games tied. Those are the 3 variables. So I'll put number wins, number losses, and the number of ties. Okay, now we have to figure out which of these 3 variables is the smallest. Okay, so they won 2 more than they lost. They lost 1 more than they tied. So it looks like the number of ties is the smallest variable. So I'm going to call that T for ties. Now, I'm going to kind of work backwards so I can define these 3 with just T's. So they lost 1 more than they tied. My losses has to be 1 greater than the ties. And now the number of wins is 2 more than they lost. So whatever this is, plus 2, gives me the wins. 2 plus 1 plus T. Now I can simplify this a little bit by combining like terms. So this is 3. I can add the 2 and the 1 because those are like terms. 3 plus T for the number of wins. That was the hard part. We know they played 12 games in all, so all I need to do is put them together in a sentence. The number of wins plus the number of losses plus the number of ties equals the total number of 12. And that's the equation. One thing I didn't mention in the earlier examples is that you can leave it like this, but if you want to combine like terms and simplify the equation farther, that's fine. I can add the 3 and the 1 here and call this 4 plus, and then there's 3 t's all added, plus 3t equals 12. So if you want to simplify these equations, that's fine, but you don't have to. You could just leave it like this. All right, and that's it.